Did you know that nearly 80% of people struggle with feelings of inadequacy in their relationships? It's not just about looks, it's how we see ourselves and how that affects our love lives. In fact, studies show that your self-worth can determine not only the quality of your relationships but also how happy you feel in them. Here's a shocking fact: people with low self-esteem are 10 times more likely to stay in unhealthy relationships because they don't believe they deserve better. It's like being stuck in a cycle where your own thoughts make you uglier than you think, not on the outside, but in how you connect with others. In this video, we'll dive into the surprising reasons why you may be sabotaging your happiness without even knowing it. From self-doubt to toxic habits, you'll learn how these hidden factors are quietly destroying your chance at lasting love and happiness. We'll uncover simple, powerful strategies to break free and transform your relationships, so stay tuned. Trust me, the changes you make today could unlock a completely new way of experiencing love tomorrow. Chapter 1: Mirror, Mirror, the hidden ugly truth about self-doubt. You might not realize it, but how you see yourself can make or break your relationships. When you doubt your worth, it shows. People pick up on those vibes, and whether you're aware of it or not, it makes you uglier in their eyes. It's not about your looks, though, it's about your mindset. If you're constantly telling yourself you're not enough, you'll struggle to connect with others on a deeper level. In fact, research shows that low self-esteem can directly affect how we interact with people. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people with low self-esteem are less likely to seek positive connections. Why? They fear rejection. They hold themselves back from meaningful relationships. Self-doubt also makes us defensive. We're afraid of criticism, so we push others away before they can hurt us. It's a defense mechanism, but it's also a surefire way to look uglier to those who care about us. This negative self-image feeds the cycle. You push people away because you feel unworthy, and that feeling reinforces your doubt. So, what can you do to change this? Start by recognizing your own value. If you want to attract love and happiness, you need to believe you deserve it. Try positive affirmations or surround yourself with people who lift you up. Little by little, those feelings of insecurity will fade, and you'll start seeing yourself in a new light. Chapter 2: The Love Mirror. When you attract what you think you deserve, what you believe about yourself determines what you attract. If you think you're only worthy of mediocre love, you'll keep attracting the same. Your internal beliefs act like a mirror, reflecting back the type of relationships you feel you deserve. Consider this: a study from the University of Texas showed that people tend to choose partners who match their own self-esteem levels. So, if you don't think highly of yourself, you may settle for someone who doesn't truly value you. It's not because you're not worthy of great love, it's because you haven't yet internalized that you are. The problem is, many of us think we can't change our circumstances. But, your love life can shift when you shift your mindset. Start by asking yourself, what do I believe I deserve in a relationship? Then ask, am I acting in a way that attracts that kind of love? It's important to stop holding on to past mistakes or limiting beliefs. If you think love is something that happens only to lucky people, you might miss out on true happiness. As Dr. John Gottman, a leading relationship expert, says, the secret to a great relationship is not finding someone perfect but learning to love the imperfect person perfectly. Start by visualizing the kind of partner you want, not in terms of looks or superficial traits, but in terms of respect, kindness, and mutual understanding. Once you believe you deserve someone amazing, you'll start seeing opportunities for that kind of love everywhere. Chapter 3: Self-Sabotage 101. How pushing away love makes you ugly inside. We all have a tendency to sabotage ourselves from time to time. In relationships, this shows up in many ways. Maybe you push people away when they start to get too close, or perhaps you avoid intimacy because you're afraid of getting hurt. In doing so, you're making yourself uglier in the process, not in a physical sense, but emotionally. A surprising statistic from Psychology Today suggests that nearly 40% of people unknowingly push love away because of past trauma. This behavior is often rooted in fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being vulnerable, or fear of repeating past mistakes. But, the truth is, this self-sabotage only deepens the hole of loneliness and despair. The key to breaking free from this pattern is vulnerability. It may sound counterintuitive, but opening yourself up to love is the only way to experience it fully. Brené Brown, a renowned expert on vulnerability, has written extensively about the power of embracing vulnerability. She argues that true courage lies in letting others see your imperfections, your scars, and your heart. Vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. So, how can you stop sabotaging yourself? Start by recognizing the patterns. Pay attention to the moments when you push someone away or distance yourself emotionally. Once you spot them, challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, am I afraid of love? What's really holding me back? The more you can confront these fears, the more you'll be able to let love in. Lastly, don't forget to practice self-compassion. Acknowledge your fears and understand that it's okay to be afraid. The goal isn't to eliminate fear but to make space for it without letting it control you. Before we move on, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapters. We'll dive deeper into emotional baggage, empathy, and how these hidden factors might be affecting your happiness and love life. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Chapter 4, The Toxic Habit, Complaining About Love Without Changing Anything. It's easy to get caught up in complaining about how love isn't working out. Maybe you think your relationships always fail, or that finding true love is just impossible. But here's the thing, complaining without action doesn't help anyone, especially not you. In fact, it might even be making you uglier in your relationships. A study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that people who frequently complain tend to have lower levels of relationship satisfaction. Why? Complaining focuses on the negative, and that negativity spreads. When you're constantly talking about what's wrong, you're not looking at what you can do to improve the situation. Instead of complaining about what's wrong in your love life, try focusing on what you can control. Take small steps to improve yourself. Are you being honest with your partner? Are you showing appreciation? Small gestures, like saying thank you or giving compliments, go a long way in strengthening a relationship. One simple strategy to break the habit of complaining is the gratitude shift. Instead of listing what you don't like about your partner or situation, write down 3 things you're grateful for in your relationship. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude regularly can boost relationship satisfaction and increase your own happiness. This doesn't mean ignoring issues that need addressing, but it does mean shifting your mindset from problems to solutions. As Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said, you can't talk yourself out of a problem you behaved yourself into. Instead of just talking about what's wrong, take active steps toward fixing it. When you stop complaining and start taking responsibility for your actions, your relationships will become healthier, and you'll naturally begin to attract more love and positivity. Chapter 5, Emotional Garbage, How Carrying Old Baggage Weighs Down Your Happiness. We all carry emotional baggage, whether it's from past relationships, childhood, or personal experiences. But here's the truth, holding on to that baggage makes you emotionally uglier than you think. It weighs you down, blocks your happiness, and affects your ability to fully connect with others. A study from the University of California found that unresolved emotional baggage is linked to higher stress levels and poorer mental health. Emotional baggage doesn't just live in your past, it's something that you carry with you every day. And when you let it dictate your present, it prevents you from creating new, healthy relationships. So how can you let go of this emotional weight? First, recognize that it's okay to have scars, but they don't have to control your future. Dr. Susan David, author of Emotional Agility, emphasizes that we don't have to suppress negative emotions, instead, we should learn to move through them. The key is not to allow past pain to define you. One practical strategy is emotional decluttering. Set aside time each week to reflect on past hurts and write them down. Acknowledge the pain, but also release the hold it has over you. By writing about your feelings, you give yourself permission to heal, and you take the power away from the past. Another approach is forgiveness. It's not about condoning what happened, but rather freeing yourself from the emotional grip it has on you. According to Mayo Clinic studies, forgiveness can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, and improve emotional health. Letting go of resentment makes space for new, healthier emotional connections. When you release the baggage, you create room for real love and happiness. You become lighter, more present, and more able to fully engage in new relationships without fear or hesitation. Chapter 6: The Empathy Shortage. Why lack of compassion makes you unattractive. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, and it plays a huge role in how attractive you are to potential partners. When you lack empathy, it makes you emotionally uglier. This doesn't mean being able to read someone's mind, it's about caring enough to listen and respond with understanding. Research by Harvard University shows that empathy is one of the most important traits in successful relationships. People who are empathetic tend to have stronger connections, are better communicators, and are seen as more attractive. In contrast, a lack of empathy can create emotional distance, making relationships feel cold and distant. To increase your empathy, start by practicing active listening. This means really hearing what the other person is saying, rather than thinking about your own response. According to Dr. Daniel Goleman, a psychologist known for his work on emotional intelligence, empathy fuels connection. The more you focus on understanding someone's feelings, the stronger your connection will be. You can also cultivate empathy by putting yourself in others' shoes. Before reacting to something your partner says or does, ask yourself how they might be feeling. Are they stressed, hurt, or anxious? By considering their emotions, you create a deeper bond. Another useful strategy is to express your empathy verbally. Let your partner know you understand how they're feeling by saying things like, "I can see how that would make you upset," or "that must have been really hard for you." Simple affirmations like these can go a long way in making someone feel heard and valued. Empathy isn't just about relationships with others, it's also about self-empathy. Show yourself the same compassion and understanding that you offer to others. Dr. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher in self-compassion, has found that people who are kind to themselves are more likely to be kinder to others. When you accept your flaws and show your self-compassion, it creates a more empathetic connection with the world. The more you practice empathy, the more you'll find that people are drawn to you. They'll appreciate your kindness, understanding, and ability to make them feel valued. Empathy makes you more attractive in a way that's much deeper than surface-level appearances.